So what's really happening? Let's break it down in a way everyone can understand. First, a little context. Nnamdi Kanu is a prominent separatist figure who has been in the national spotlight for years. Recently, there are reports that while he is in custody, or under court processes, there was some kind of incident, an attack alleged by his team and supporters involving the Department of State Services, DSS. Maxwell Opara has publicly raised the alarm, saying Kanu's life could be in danger because of this attack plus the ongoing court case. Now, let me paint the scenario. Imagine being in custody, facing serious charges, and your supporters telling you an attack has happened. Naturally, that raises major red flags. According to the reports, Opara is claiming that Kanu has been subjected to aggressive treatment or threats inside DSS custody. They claim he may not survive this, means the situation is being portrayed as extremely dangerous. What we need to keep in mind, this is a serious allegation. If true, it raises questions about due process, detention rights, state responsibility and human rights. On the other hand, we have to verify the facts, hear from the DSS, see the court records, see what independent observers say. As of now, the details are still emerging. We're in an information gathering mode, and I will walk you through what we know and what to watch out for. What we know so far. The court case. Kanu is involved in a major legal battle for charges related to his activism. His legal team and supporters argue he's being targeted, his rights may be being violated. The attack claim, Opara says Kanu was attacked in DSS custody, or at least threatened. This is a serious human rights alarm. The alarm, may not survive this, is dramatic, but that dramatism reflects the fear among Kanu's supporters that something irreversible might happen if the situation is not handled transparently and lawfully. Why this matters to all Nigerians. Even if you're not part of IPOB or a Biafran separatist supporter, this case touches on bigger issues, the treatment of detainees, fairness of trials, the power of security agencies in Nigeria, the accountability of state institutions. If one person in this position is treated harshly, it sets a precedent. If rights can be ignored in one case, they might be ignored in others. So this is a case with wider implications for justice, for democracy, for rule of law in Nigeria. What to watch out for? Are independent observers allowed access? Lawyers allowed proper meetings? Medical reports. What does the DSS say? Are they providing a counter-narrative? Has there been an official investigation into the attack claim? How does the court respond? Is the judge or the case monitoring body aware of these allegations? Are they taking steps to ensure Kanu's safety and rights? How will public opinion and protest impact the process? Supporters of Kanu are likely to be highly active, which could lead to tensions. Here's a thought to engage you. Let's consider, if you were in Kanu's position, under heavy legal pressure and facing serious charges, and you believed your safety was at risk, what would you expect from the state? What protections would you demand? And what do you think the state owes you, especially if you assert your innocence? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Also, share the video so we can widen the conversation. Turning to possible outcomes. If Kanu's rights are upheld, and any alleged attack is formally investigated, this could strengthen confidence in Nigeria's justice system. If the allegations are ignored or swept under the carpet, this could lead to major fallout, public protest, international attention, questions about Nigeria's human rights record. For Kanu himself, this could go either way. His legal case may deepen, his health or safety may become a concern, his supporters could escalate pressure on the government. Why the phrasing, may not survive this, is so dramatic. It's not just about a typical legal brawl anymore. It's about personal safety, about potential abuse of power, about the worst-case scenario for a detainee. Such a phrase signals that the issue has crossed from legal argument into human survival. That alone is enough to capture attention and demand that all eyes are on this trial. But here's the key part of what Maxwell Opara said, and this is what got many Nigerians worried. He alleged that the level of harassment and intimidation Kanu is facing inside custody is beyond what anyone can imagine. He also said Kanu's health is deteriorating, and that the DSS is not giving him proper medical care. That's a big claim. If true, it would mean we're dealing with a serious humanitarian issue, not just a political one. Now, remember, Nigeria's constitution guarantees the right to life, fair trial, and humane treatment of every citizen, no matter who they are or what they are accused of. So, even though Kanu's case is very controversial, the basic principle still applies: everyone deserves justice and safety. If you agree with that, drop your thoughts in the comment section. I really want to know what you think about this. Now, let's talk about what the DSS has said. According to their official position in previous similar claims, the DSS usually denies any wrongdoing. They often say they treat detainees with respect and within the boundaries of the law. However, critics say there's a pattern of secrecy, that DSS facilities are not open for independent inspection. That's where the tension lies. One side says, everything is fine, the other side says, things are getting worse. And that's why Opara's statement shook social media this week, because when you hear a lawyer say, my client may not survive this, it sends a signal that something might be going terribly wrong. That's what has triggered conversations on X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube across Nigeria and the diaspora. People are asking, what's happening inside that DSS facility? Now, let's connect this to the bigger picture. Nigeria has a history of high-profile detainees raising similar alarms. From journalists to activists and opposition figures, there have been repeated calls for better transparency in how security agencies handle sensitive cases. And that's why this particular case matters, because how it's handled could set an example for future cases. And for those who might not fully understand why Nnamdi Kanu is even in detention, he's the leader of IPOB, a movement that has been pushing for an independent Biafra state, separate from Nigeria. The government banned IPOB, declaring it an unlawful organization, and accused Kanu of instigating violence and spreading hate speech. His supporters, on the other hand, say he's simply fighting for the right to self-determination, something they argue is recognized under international law. So it's a deeply emotional and political issue. Now, Maxwell Opara's latest alarm adds fuel to that fire. Because it's not just about ideology anymore, it's about human survival. And when a case reaches that level, it moves from politics to humanity. That's why Nigerians are saying, we may not all support Kanu's views, but no one should die in detention. And to be honest, that's a fair point. When a democracy allows abuse of one person's rights, it becomes easier to abuse others tomorrow. That's why citizens are calling on the courts, the National Assembly, and even the presidency to intervene and make sure there's transparency. Now let me ask you, do you think Nnamdi Kanu's case is being handled fairly? Do you believe the DSS should allow medical experts and neutral observers to check on him regularly? Drop your opinions below. I'll be reading your comments and replying to some in my next video. And again, if you're just joining, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps this platform keep growing and reaching more Nigerians who care about truth and fairness. Now let's talk about what might happen next. The next court session is expected to be very tense. Kanu's lawyers might file fresh motions demanding better treatment or even bail, citing his health and safety. The prosecution, on the other hand, will likely oppose that, saying the case is too sensitive for bail. The judge will have to balance national security concerns with human rights, and that's not an easy task. We've also seen how this case has affected the Southeast region. Every time there's tension around Kanu's court dates, you see protests, sit-at-home orders, and fear spreading across major towns like Onitsha, Aba, and Enugu. So this is not just a legal story, it's also an economic and social issue. Many businesses shut down, transport gets affected, and ordinary people suffer the consequences. So this is where leadership and communication become very important. Both the government and IPOB supporters need to show restraint, calm, and maturity in how they express themselves. Nigeria doesn't need more violence or bloodshed. What we need is fairness, truth, and unity. And as we keep watching the situation, one thing is certain, the world is paying attention. International human rights groups, the UN, and even foreign media have their eyes on how Nigeria handles this case. Because how we treat people in our justice system reflects who we are as a country. Let's pause here for a moment. If you're finding this discussion insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I still have more updates and analysis coming your way on this developing story.